Let's talk about psychology. There are theories of motivation, but specifically in this lesson, we're going to focus on Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Now, let's not waste any more time and dive right in. Some people are motivated by carrots, others by sticks, but nobody's motivated by carrot sticks. Now tell me, what motivates you? Why do you do the things that you do? There are many different motivators. For example, you make breakfast because you are hungry, and you go to work because you need the money. But when you've satisfied these basic needs, you probably move on to doing things that you think will make you happy. Psychology has some theories. The first aim of the brain is to help you survive. After that, it pursues other needs. What kind? Inner needs. Needs that are in your mind. Robert Hutchins said, "Whenever I feel like exercising, I lie down until the feeling passes." Well, as I mentioned, in psychology, there are a number of theories on motivation. Right now, we're going to laser focus on one of them and have some fun doing it. Along the way, I'm going to drop some easy mental breadcrumbs, so when you take the test on motivation theory, you can pass it. Can't you just feel the smartness in the air? Breathe it in. Yeah, by the way, that's you taking the test and passing it. Okay, let's take a closer look at these theories in psychology. In order to gain a full and complete understanding of human motivation, it is essential to understand the basic concepts behind each theory. Now, this is helpful because it'll also be on the test, these different theories of motivation, and it makes good sense because as you discover what each one of them mean, like a good psychologist, you can paint the full picture, get the full idea, since any one theory doesn't stand on its own. Here are the main theories on motivation. Now, don't get overwhelmed. You're not going to memorize all of these on this lesson. It's going to take multiple lessons to break each one apart. But once you do, you're going to easily memorize them and be able to recall them so that you can pass the test. We're just going to focus this lesson on humanistic theory. But as a side note, in case you're already thinking, I can't do this, I don't want to keep going, let me help motivate you. Real quick, I'm going to show you how I'm going to be able to help you memorize all of these different theories in a simple way. All of them spell Idaho. So I just moved some of the theories around so that the beginnings can spell Idaho for us. There's humanistic theory. That's the one we're going to learn in this lesson. But you get the idea. That's how simple it's going to be. And I'm going to do that for actually each individual theory. I'm going to break apart another one of these words. It's called mnemonics. That helps you memorize it. And you're going to be able to recall that too so that you can pass the test. Okay? Plus, along the way, I want you to actually learn this. You're going to understand what it means. Now, in humanistic theory, Abraham Maslow, created something called the Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Some call it Maslow's pyramid of needs, and that's because it looks something like this. Now, we're going to go into greater detail about what each one of these means in a moment. But first, I want you to understand how to use this thing, how it works, just so that you know everything goes up. You start at the bottom, and then you move your way up. What I like to do with this hierarchy is I like to break it into two pieces, all right? So what I mean by that is here I have a 2, I have an arrow. I've broken apart the bottom 2 and the top 3. Here's why. The bottom 2, I like to consider them as your very basic outside needs. These are your bodily needs. These are your protection. They affect you. But the top 3, they have to do with your inner needs, your mind, how you think, your belonging, your relationships, how you feel about yourself. So you can see these are two different concepts. Now, Maslow said that not everybody actually reaches higher than just their first couple of levels. They never actually make it any further than that. That's why he showed how important this was to try to climb it. Okay, so we'll break each one apart. So the physiological needs, that stands for breathing, food, water, sex, sleep. The most important things in order to function, okay, and procreate and keep on move on to the next generation. The next one would be safety. This is security of your body. This is employment. You don't want to lose your job. Morality, the family, health, property. These are things that would matter to you that at the moment, once these were taken care of, you can now focus on these, okay? That's how it works as you move on. Now, the next one is going to be your friendships, your relationships. This is going to be your family. This is going to be your romantic love. This is going to be your partners. This is going to be the conversations and friendships that you have, okay? The next level is going to be your esteem. Now, this isn't just, this ego, so to speak. There's a little bit more to this. This is your confidence, your achievement. You feel good about what you did. You've been recognized. You work hard, and it shows. You've succeeded. You have this nice self-esteem about it, and you respect others, and you're also respected by others, okay? And then finally, you get up to this sweet spot, this self-actualization. This actually has nothing to do with anybody else. That's the difference on this level. It has nothing to do with anybody else. It has to do with you. Your creativity has worked things out, your problem solving, your lack of prejudices, your acceptance of facts or things you have no control over. This is that moment where you have these medals and awards, but they're not for other people to see. They're for you. There's something that you realized happened. It has nothing to do with anybody else. It's your fullest potential. Another way to look at this is it's like building blocks. You notice this block is bigger at the bottom than it is moving up. And that's because each block has to carry the load of the next one. So this is more important at the moment until it's taken care of. Then you can move up to the next part of the structure and take care of it. Same thing, once your safety and security is taken care of, you can move up to the next structure. This becomes the most important part of your reality. So on and so forth. Another way to look at it that I think is interesting is it's sort of like chutes and ladders or snakes and ladders, depending on what board game you played as a kid. For instance, here is snakes and ladders. And the way the game goes, as you've probably played it, is you slowly climb up the ladders to make your way up. But at any time, you can actually hit one of the snakes and have to slide all the way down and start from that to move back up. I've never seen the show, but it's called Xena Warrior Princess. It was a show from the 90s. And someone explained it to me. I really enjoyed their explanation because they brought out that she usually starts every episode off being the best she is, the warrior princess, the leader, the great one. And at some point in the episode, she immediately falls down into one of these categories. Sometimes just a couple rings, sometimes at the very bottom. And she has to work herself up, and at the very end of the episode, she's up back at the very top. Well, there was one episode where she did just that. She fell all the way down. They had no food and water. She had to help the city. She was able to find a way to get around it. It wasn't a great way, but it was the best they could do at the moment by just giving the food and water to the soldiers so that they could fight the enemy. And at the time, that was what helped them with safety to protect the place too. The problem was her love and belonging. She had a close friend who was pretty mad at her for taking away the food and water from those who needed it. And so she had to find a way to make amends. Well, she was able to do that and kind of balance them out by making a sort of a peace offering to try to help everybody, including the wounded. And then eventually she was able to get up to her esteem goal because she went and kind of sacrificed herself out to fight the enemy by herself to challenge the main leader, which she ended up winning, and she gained everyone's respect. Finally, at the end of the episode, she was once again at her greatest potential, the warrior princess. Okay, now let's tackle the test. Let's ace it, okay? So here are the cliff notes from Maslow's hierarchy of needs. I have the notes from the top going down, but as you know, they will actually be from the bottom going up on this representation, okay? So it will be, first of all, the very beginnings, your physiological needs. As you know, it's just hunger, thirst, sex, the most important things to keep things going, everything moving, the race moving on, the population growing. Finally, we have safety, that's security, out of danger. Then we've got the belonging, to be accepted. Finally, the esteem, and then the complete ultimate goal is self-actualization, your unique potential, okay? Now, with all of these things, how are you going to remember this for the test? Okay, these are the answers, but fortunately, if it's multiple choice, it's going to be a lot easier. If it's not, how are you going to do it? Well, here's how you memorize it. This is what I do. Really simple. I use PS less, as if you're writing a letter to your friend Les, short for Lester, of course. Les, you want to write a letter to Les to tell Les to become the best he could possibly be. He needs to follow Maslow's hierarchy of needs, okay? So in the letter, the most important part you tell him about is at the PS. You write the full letter, but it's at the very bottom. PS, Les, I got to tell you about Maslow. You got to look at all of this. You read a letter, and the PS is sometimes the thing you look at the most, right? So PS, what does PS stand for? Stands for physiological and safety. Remember I said it's those basic things, those important things? Well, this is important. It's the PS. Grab your attention. Finally, Les, the person, the one who thinks. Less starts with L for love. On the test, it might say love and belonging, or belonging and love, but love will always be there, okay? And then E stands for esteem, and then S stands for self-actualization. That is how you're going to memorize this so that you can pass the test. P.S. less. I got to write you that letter. P.S. less.